Hello friends, and welcome back to a yoga class with Hami. The yoga class today, we will continue to bring flexibility back to your body. We will stretch your lower body, including the hamstring, the glute, and the inner thigh for today, so that we can go to the split. So let's start on the floor, sitting in your cross-leg position. Move your sitting bones back so that you can create a natural curve on your low back. Stack your shoulder joints right on the top of your hip joints for an upright position and bring your arms to relax on your legs. Keep your head in a neutral position, so not extended and not flexed. Close your eyes and we start the class with 5 long breaths. Take a deep inhale and a long exhale. As you inhale, feel how your whole body is growing up taller. And as you exhale, keep the same height of your own body, the same length of your spine. Relax your face. Feel how you are very stable in this sitting pose. Even though your core muscles have to work to keep your spine raising upright. But there's a sense of relaxation as you drop all the tension on your face, on your shoulders. Remember this long and calm breath that you are doing, and maintain this breath through this very easy pose, Sukhasana, and all the way to harder, more challenging and more intense poses that we will do later. We start with warming up the top of your spine, so bring your chin down to your chest. Then let's make a circle with your neck. Bring your left ear to your left shoulders. Face up to the sky and right ear to your right shoulders. This very simple moving your neck in circle. Do it slowly to feel all the tight spots, all the tension that you may have around your neck. And maintain your breath here. Inhale as you face up and exhale as you face down. Make sure you are bringing in enough air, enough oxygen into your muscles. And after you have done 5 rounds, let's do it the other direction for 5 rounds too. Make the circle as big as you can, so that you can discover the full range of movement of your neck. And after 5 rounds, let's bring your chin back to your chest and then stack your head right on the top of your spine and open your eyes. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, let's bring your hands down next to you. Keep your right knee bent and straighten your left leg to the side. Make sure you are still sitting on both of your sitting bones. And it's okay if your knee is not on the floor. You can stack a block or a pillow underneath to support your leg. And you can close your legs closer so that you can sit firmly on both of your sitting bones. Point your left toes up to the sky and the kneecap is facing up, so your leg is not falling out or falling in. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And then turn your whole chest toward the straight leg and forward bend. Hold your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, arch through your spine. And exhale, fold yourself. For 2 more times, inhale. Let's lift your chest up. And exhale, Become rounded, bring your chest and your face very close to your leg. One more time. This is like a cat and cow movement, but we do it in the Janu Sirsasana pose. And then slowly raise yourself up. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. Let's turn your chest toward the front. And let's bring your left hand down to the floor, bend your left elbow and push into your left inner thigh. As you exhale, turn your chest completely to the opposite direction into a twisting Janu Sirsasana pose. 3 breaths here. Inhale, lengthen through your arm, reaching your top arm toward your toes. And exhale, turn your chest to the opposite direction to your leg. Every time you do this, you will feel a big stretch on the sides of your body. And maybe the stretch is happening on your straight leg too. And slowly raise yourself up. Inhale, arms over your head. And exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee and right hand behind you for a twist. Let's stay here in 3 breaths. Push the floor away as you inhale. And exhale, look all the way back. And remember to keep both of your sitting bones on the floor. Then slowly come back. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, bring your right hand behind you on the floor. Push your knee and your heel down so that you can lift your hips up into a kind of back bend pose. Stretch all the way at the front of your body, and then you can sit down toward the floor. Now let's close your left leg in and open your right leg out. Point your right toes up to the sky, kneecap facing up. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, turn your whole chest to face the straight leg. You will feel it stretching more on your left than on your right here already. And then forward bend. Hold your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, lifting your chest up, arcing through your spine like a cow pose. Keep pointing your toes to your face as you exhale. Feel the big stretch on your right leg and on your back. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale, reaching your head closer toward your ankle. And 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Now slowly come back to the center. Bring your arms over your head. Turn your chest toward the front. And then bring your right hand down to the floor. Bend your right elbow, pushing it into your inner thigh. And then turn your chest completely to the opposite direction toward your leg. It's like your chest don't want to face your legs at all. Inhale, reaching your top arm over your head. And exhale, use this forks between your arm and your leg to turn your chest even more to create the twist. And it helps you stretch the QR at the lower back. Janu Sirsasana is a very good pose to help you if you have lower back pain or discomfort. And slowly get out of here. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. Right hand on your left knee and left hand behind you. Keep both of your sitting bones on the floor. Don't lift your hips up. And keep turning your chest. You can look all the way back so that you are twisting in the neck, spine too. And after 3 breaths, let's get back. Inhale, arms over your head. Now bring your left hand down to the floor. Hold it firmly on the ground and then press the knee and the heel down as you lift your whole hips up into a back bend. And then slowly go down toward the floor. And now close your legs toward each other. Hold your hands and your knees on the floor into a table pose. Hold the floor firmly and spread your fingers out. Make sure you are grabbing the floor with all the corners of your hands. Inhale, arc through your spine for a cow pose. And exhale, become rounded into a cat pose. Move for 4 more times on your own breath. Try to move very thoroughly between the tiny bones on your neck down to the bigger vertebrae on your thoracic and lumbar spine. And feel how you're moving your pelvis too. And after the next time, you can tuck your toes, inhale for cow pose, and raise your hips up to the highest peak of downward facing dog. Walk your heels on and off the floor in down dog. And now let's bring your right leg up toward the sky as you inhale. Bend your knee, open your hips, stack your hips on top of each other. But look at your left leg, it's exactly the same like in down dog. The knee and the ankle of your left leg are not collapsing in. Now let's use your right knee to paint very big circle, touching your left knee, go to your face and then open out and up for 3 circles like that. And after 3 circles, let's reverse the circling movement for 3 more rounds. Try to make the circle as big as you can so that we warm up, we lubricate the joint, the hip joint. Eventually step your right foot toward your right hand. And now let's move your hands toward the left side so that now you are facing your left. Put the whole left foot on the floor and point the foot out diagonally. Slowly sit down toward your left heel. And if you are not used to squatting, it's okay to raise your heel up and use your hand to support you in the pose. Purposely use your left arm to open your left thigh out. And now point all the toes and the kneecap of the right side up to the sky. Stay here in Skandasana, side lunge, and enjoy this big stretch on your inner thigh and hamstring and calf of the right leg. And after this, let's bring the front foot down to the floor and bring your back knee down to the floor for low lunge. Anjali Asana, inhale, bring your arms up over your head. And exhale, bring your hands down, move your hips back. Keep only the front heel on the floor, point your toes up to your face. Inhale, arc through your spine. And exhale, forward bend. Now inhale, lift your chest up. And then keep the front heel on the floor. Let's turn your back leg so that the left foot will be behind you. And then bring the front heel so that it will be on the same line with the back knee. Raise yourself up into a gate pose and point all your toes toward you. Bring your arms over your head as you inhale. And exhale, bring your right hand down to the floor and left hand up to the sky. And notice that here it's very easy that your hip will try to sit down to your heel, but you will force your hips to go forward, away from the heel. And now bring the top arm over your head. And do the same like we did in Janu Sirsasana. Inhale, reaching your arm to your toes. And exhale, turn your chest to the opposite direction to your leg. It's a really nice stretch to the inner thigh and the leg. And then let's bring your hand down to the floor, turn your back leg inside the mat, bring your front foot back and go all the way up to downward facing dog. Inhale for plank pose and exhale, bring your knees, your thighs, your hips, your belly and chest and face down to the floor. Always keep your arms close to you. Inhale for cobra pose. And exhale, let's push yourself up, tap your toes and go all the way back to downward facing dog. Now we will bring your left leg up and open your whole hips to the left side. So your legs are splitting very far away from each other. And observe your right leg. Make sure that the thigh bone is still turning out, so that the knee and the toes are still facing your face. Bend your left knee and then start making circle. Bring the knee to touch your right knee, touch your face, and then out and up as high as you can. 3 rounds here. Try to move your hips to discover the full range of movement that you are having right now. And after 3 times, we will move the opposite direction. So reverse the circling movement. If you feel tight somewhere, that means your movement could be restricted there. And after 3 rounds here, step your left foot toward your left hand position. Bring both of your hands toward the right side. And now you can point your left foot diagonally toward the corner of the mat. And then let's walk your hands toward the end of the mat. Point your right toes toward the corner of the mat. Sit down, and if you are not used to squatting, you can raise your right heel up and keep holding your hands on the floor to support the pose. Here, use your right arm to open your right thigh out, and notice that your left leg, the kneecap and the toes are facing up, so that we aim to stretch right into the inner thigh and the hamstring and the calf. Raise your chest up so that you have your own core strength here to be able to sit upright. Skandasana, the side lunge that help you stretch inner thigh and hamstring, calf and glute. And now let's move your hands back, walking your hands forward. Step your front foot down to the floor, bring your back knee down to the floor too, into Anjali Asana. Raise yourself up, inhale, and exhale, bring your hands down back to the floor. Move your hips back and keep only the front heel on the floor. Point all your toes up to your face, half split. Inhale, arch through your spine like a cow pose, and exhale, fold yourself very deep. Now inhale, lift your chest up again. And now keep your front leg the same, but turn your right leg so that the right foot will be behind you. And make the front heel and the back knee in line. Raise yourself up into a gate pose. Point your toes to you. And you can still bend your front knee slightly, especially if you have a tendency to hyperextend. Arms to the side. Inhale and exhale. Left hand down to the floor, right hand up to the sky. Inhale for one more time. And then right arm will be all the way over your head, reaching toward your toes. The same twist we add into this pose. Every time you exhale, turn your chest to the opposite direction to your leg. And keep your hips away from your heel by pushing your hips to the same direction you are facing right now. And then let's bring both hands down to the floor and bring the back foot into the mat. Step your front foot back for plank pose. As you inhale and exhale, knees, thighs, everything on your body. Squeeze your arms next to you all the time. Inhale for cobra pose. And exhale for downward facing dog. Now let's inhale, bring your right leg up. Open your hips and then bend your knee. So now your hips are stacking into each other, and keep turning the left thigh bone out so that the kneecap is still facing your face. Step your right foot toward your right hand and then raise yourself up into high lunge pose. Bring your arms over your head as you inhale. And exhale, become so stable on your legs so that you can add a back bend into this pose and still keep balance. Inhale, stand up straight. And then bring your back foot down to the floor, open yourself to the side into warrior two. Your front thigh bone, let's open it out so much that you start feeling that stretch on your inner thigh. Reverse warrior as you exhale. And then inhale, warrior two. Exhale, right hand down to the floor, left hand up to the sky. Turn your top hand back and bring it behind you. And maybe you can do the full bound here, the bottom hand go underneath. Keep opening your front thigh bone out using your own arm strength to push it out. You should feel it stretching even more on the inner thigh and the glute. Then slowly get out of here, bring your hands down to the floor. Let's point your feet out like two diagonal lines and then slowly crawl your hands toward the back side of your mat. Sit down, squat down onto your left leg. You can lift your left heel up, but if you feel like you are more into squatting, you can see if you can lower your heel to the floor and still use your left arm to open your left thigh out, stretching into the right leg. So here you can still hold on the floor, but if you don't need the support of your arms anymore, you can hold your hands in front of your heart and raise your chest up, lifting yourself away from the floor. And then let's bring your hands down to the floor, raise your hips up, keep your front toes pointing forward and point your back toes toward the left side, right hand on the floor or on your own ankle, left hand up to the sky for triangle pose. Take an inhale here and exhale, bring your arms over your head. Keep turning your chest away from your hips. Then bring your hands down toward the floor. Step your front foot back for plank pose. Take an inhale and exhale, knees and everything else on the floor while your arms always squeezing toward the sides of yourself. Inhale for cobra pose and exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's inhale, left leg up. Open your hips, stack your left hip on top of your right hips and bend your left knee. Keep turning the thigh bone of your right side out. And then step your left foot toward your left hand position. Raise yourself up into a high lunge pose as you inhale. And then exhale, make the back bend into high lunge. Inhale, raise yourself upright. And exhale, warrior two. Bring your arms out. And feel this action of external rotation on your front thigh bone so much that you are stretching the inner thigh here. And exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale for warrior two. And exhale, left hand down to the floor, right hand up to the sky. Now let's do the full bound. Bring your top hand back and bring your bottom hand underneath your leg and up. It's okay if you are not touching your hands. But try to use your own arm to push your knee out so that you external rotating the front thigh bone even more and you feel the big stretch on the inner thigh and the glute. Slowly get out of this pose, walk your hands toward the back side of your mat and squat down onto your right side. It's okay to lift the heel up, but if you think you can keep balance with the heel down, feel free to do so. Lift your chest up. Maybe you don't need your arm to support you anymore. Hands in front of your heart. Stay here for 3 breaths and constantly pushing your right thigh bone out so that your right ankle will not be collapsing in. And after this, let's raise your hips up again. Bring the whole front foot down to the floor and back foot pointing to the right side. Triangle pose. Bring your right arm over your head. Think of how you are arcing through your spine like a cow pose. Just enough so that your spine is not rounded. And bring your top arm over your head. 1 breath here. And then bring your hands down to the floor. Raise your back heel up and step your front foot back for plank pose. Inhale. And exhale, the whole body on the floor. Inhale for cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's inhale, bring your right leg up towards the sky, split your legs away from each other and stack your hips. Step your right foot toward your right hand. And then raise yourself up for high lunge. As you exhale, back bend into the high lunge. And inhale, come up straight, go all the way to warrior two. And now reverse warrior. Inhale for warrior two. And exhale, bounded side angle pose. Bring your hands down to the floor and this time, let's point your toes to the same direction. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, keep holding your hips up really high as you fold yourself toward the floor and stay here for 3 breaths. And then slowly get out of this. Walk your hands to the front of your mat. Step your front foot back. Plank pose. One more flow here. Exhale. Lay down to the floor. Inhale, cobra pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Split your legs away from each other without changing your right leg. Step your left foot toward your left hand and raise yourself up. High lunge, inhale. Exhale, back bend in the high lunge. Inhale, come up straight, and then open yourself into warrior two. As you exhale, reverse the warrior. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, bounded side angle pose. Now let's release your hands and walk your hands toward the same side. Point your toes to the same side here. Inhale, arc your spine, and exhale, forward bend. 3 breaths here. And slowly get out of this and walk your hands to the front of your mat. Let's step your front foot back and then bring your knees down toward the floor. Let's do a very wide child's pose by pointing your thigh bones out and then lay down to the floor. So you can just stay here if you think this is enough stretch for yourself, but you can try the frog pose by moving your knees apart from each other and flex your ankle. So your knee and your ankle joints are like 90-degree angle. Then you can lower your forearms and stay here for quite an intense inner thigh stretch in this frog pose. Anytime you feel like it's too much for you, you can get out of the pose by moving yourself forward. So to get out of this, I suggest you move forward, you hold your hands on the floor and bring your knees closer. Let's sit down to the floor and open your legs to the side. You don't have to be completely straight, like 180 degree. Just open your legs to some extent that your body can still sit upright. If you straighten your leg and you immediately become rounded, I'd rather you bend your knees. Use your arm to help yourself sitting up straight. Point your toes and your kneecaps up to the sky, and we can start from here. So if you see that you can sit up straight, let's start walking your hands forward. And slowly crawl yourself forward, lower your arms into this split. Keep pointing your toes and your kneecaps up because it's very easy for them to just fall or outside or inside. And then if you think you feel more flexible, you can slowly straighten your legs. Or maybe move your hips slightly forward so that you can open your legs wider. Let's stay here for about 5 breaths. And please understand that your hip joint structure will decide how big your range of movement is. So you really don't have to try to split as wide as anyone else at any cost. So maybe to some extent you can have your chest on the floor or your face on the floor, but it doesn't matter at all the shape of the pose. What is important is that you feel the stretch on your glute, your hamstring, your inner thigh. That's good enough. And after the pose, let's slowly get out of here. You can lean yourself back so that it's easier for you to close your legs together. Squeeze your legs toward each other, hold your fingertips on the floor, bend your elbows, lift your chest up and do one boat pose as a counter pose to the split. And after this boat pose, feel free to lay down to the floor in Savasana while I'm going to get out of the pose to finish the class. Thank you very much for doing this class with me today, and I hope that my video helped you bring mobility and strength to your body. Please consider subscribe to my channel and click on the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new yoga class. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next class. Bye bye.